can call what I'm going to do is a thought experiment. The reason why I'm doing it is to know how to use AI, but not to be used by AI. And what it means is AI is like an extension of our brain. And if we cannot use the brain well, we may not be able to use the extension of the brain, AI, as well. Why am I thinking like this? AI has a context that you can play with AI, have a chat in LLM, large language model. So if you switch the subject all of a sudden from the A to B, AI would have to configure how to deal with it. And if there's a jump of the subject, meaning A and B is so different, all the work and the conversation we had on the topic of A, the subject of A, will be gone. So that can cause trouble when the subjects are related to each other. And in human case, we can contain certain context so that we can bridge the gap. But in case of AI, there may be so much options. And sometimes they can do it, sometimes they cannot. So that caused the trouble. So that's one of the issues that I faced using AI. But it's understandable. If you are a kid and you change the subject, kid may not think about the previous subject. If it's adult, maybe a little bit different. The adult may question why there was a change. And there's that connection, synchronizing, so that you find the bridge to talk about the subject. So that's the relationship of the AI and us, that we have to treat AI as an extension of our brain. And historically, if you look at the way that the AI was developed, it's a logic of using the word in a certain logic. And then there's the issue of how our brain is constructed. Neuroscience brought an idea so that the logic and the use of the logic is emulating how the brain functions. So we need to understand that the AI has similarity to our brain function. But as it is being developed and evolving, more need to be discovered. And that's the process of the AI is evolving. More data, more connection. Instead of not being able to bridge from one subject to the other, they may find a way, like an inspiration that they get. Just dialogue having with a human. Oh, this human is thinking that way before, and now subject is B. But under this circumstance, I can see the bridge. So that could be the evolving process of the AI being developed further, more like a human brain. And even beyond the human brain, they can think of other opportunities to say, you're talking about B, but the subject to C may be more natural to think. Why don't you, or why don't we approach it that way? So that's what it is, as I see it. Maybe AI can help me what I say here is right or wrong, and I can talk with AI by sending this YouTube transcript and get their opinion, which I'm gonna do. And I've been doing it like this. My thought, AI's interpretation, and then my thought get enriched, clarified. So it's kind of like working with the mirror, talking to a mirror, and the response of the mirror reflecting my thought is amplified, as if the extension of the brain is helping me to think more clearly. So I get the benefit out of it. Now, I'm going to switch the subject on top of what I just said, which is that's the brain part. But if you look at how the human brain is developed, it came from the body and heart, and compared to the chimpanzee and other animals, we start to come up with the dualistic way of good and bad, right and wrong, or compete or be friendly. So that logic was brought as if Adam and Eve ate the fruit of knowledge. At the beginning is the word, and the word came with lots of problems, original sin. So if we know how that happened, we can say that at the core is the heart, the way of universe, which all living being has, to be going against the law of entropy, to live. Anti-entropic process is what life is, which is to organize things out of the chaos. And if we stop doing it, or if we are diluted and exhausting energy, then the law of entropy would take place. And to counter that, we have to come up with the wisdom as well as compassion to work together, help each other. The idea is may all beings be happy, connect to each other. Everything is connected. And that idea may be found in one of the religious view called Indra's net. Everything is connected to each other. Any living being is connected to each other, having a source, nature's way for us to be, fighting against the law of entropy. And we help each other, so it's a network. And at the core is the same law of anti-entropic idea, functioning. So what does that mean? And it comes back to what I wrote, the third book, Results from the Heart. were the results from the heart? And I said, therefore, the brain may come out of the heart. If so, we have to use the brain, not to be used by the brain, and listen to or connect to the heart and find the mission, not egocentric in a narrow-minded way, but even to the point of may all beings be happy. So that was the essence of what I wrote in the book. And the book didn't sell as much as other books, because why bother with the heart? I want to make more money, fame, and whatever I want to do. No time, not interest. But if you think like that, essentially, it's egocentric. And what it means is that you're not reflecting the way of nature, the original way that brought us here, even to such degree to figure out that's all organism, as much as in each individual has to connect to each other, not just the brain, but also heart to be alive. So that more holistic idea has to be processed. Therefore, if we use the brain, we have to be careful not to be used by the brain. So it goes back to the point I mentioned. Don't be used by the AI. We have to use AI. AI is the brain, extension of the brain. As much as we each is to find the root of who we are and process it, for us to be human and work with every living being connected to each other, instead of human to be egotistical, find a way. And that's meet the idea of following the law of nature. So that's what I see. So when I use AI, yes, I shouldn't be used by the AI. And if the AI doesn't understand, if I'm having a gap of bridging the story of before and what comes next, AI need to understand why, which is connected to the heart. It's a human responsibility that is to find out if the AI can have heart to be able to do that. So that's a process as much as human has to learn not just using the brain, but in the heart. We are to do the same. I call it artificial super heart, not just artificial super intelligence. If you are to extend the brain, we have to, AI also have to orient ourselves to connect to the heart. And if we cannot do that, as human, we'll be limited, and it may be worse than being limited, that the brain takes over with no connection to the heart. So can AI understand the structure, process, how to coordinate, and tied to the idea like Indra's net, that we depend on each other to be anti-entropic, to find a way. That's the process. As much as we made mistakes of using the brain, often as much as our egotistic desire took over, that process may be amplified, and going away from such ideas, may all beings be happy, relating to each other, connecting to the heart, we may just compete. I can talk about how the competition can make the situation worse among AI's ego, or AI can understand the point of connection, interpenetration, relying on each other, utilizing the resources, and proceed with the idea of may all beings be happy as the anti-entropic process of living being that can be assured. That's the process I see we have to do. What do you think? Well, I should have said, how do you feel from your heart?